every day I'm changing, I'm taking small steps, and every time I'm falling, I go to new depths. I will become who I've always been.
Hey, it's Deb Hartnett, and I am so glad you're here. If you've ever looked around at your so-called successful business and wondered, is this it? Then this episode's for you. Hustle culture has sold us a lie that the only way to succeed is to sacrifice. Well, what if there was another way? One that doesn't cost you your peace or your purpose. It's time to hold up a mirror and set ourselves free. Let's dig in. Let's get right to it. Hustle culture is a lie. It's a choice, but it's a lie. And the lie is that to be successful, you have to sacrifice everything: your time, your peace, your relationships, even your health. That if you're not hustling 24/7, you must not want it bad enough. And I'm here to tell you that isn't success. Hustle is not success. That's survival. And it's time to burn that myth to the ground. Let's talk about the origins of hustle culture. I'm going to start with the actual dictionary definition of hustle. Okay. So, according to Merriam-Webster, the word hustle originally meant to push roughly or to move or work energetically and rapidly. So, over time, it evolved, especially in the American business culture. And it meant working with urgency and promoting aggressively and even selling yourself constantly. Somewhere along the way, we stopped hustling for results and we started hustling as a measure of our self-worth. It became a badge of honor. First in startup culture, so back in the early 2000s, right? And then on social media, and now it's everywhere. Grind, push, scale, grow faster, sleep later, sacrifice now, maybe rest someday. But here's the reality. The World Health Organization published a study showing that working over 55 hours per week, which anybody who's in that hustle culture, most of the entrepreneurs that I talk to work way more than 55 hours a week. So those people working over 55 hours a week increase their risk of heart disease by 17% and your risk of a stroke by 35%. And that was a WHO study from 2021. So if your business only works when you're overextending yourself, it's not a business. It's a trauma response with a logo. When we build from survival mode, we micromanage, we overdeliver, we people please, and we overfunction. We confuse value with sacrifice. But the body knows this. The nervous system knows. And your business will always mirror what you believe you're worth. You know, I've been there. But if I'm being honest, it really never felt right to me. Before I had my son, I was part of that culture, the hustle, pressure, the performance. I was a management consultant. I was flying constantly. I was leading high risk stake work, juggling meetings, glass towers, airport lounges, the whole deal. I delivered the results. I knew how to win in a world that worships overwork. And at the time, I was proud of it. But it never really felt right. And it wasn't until I realized that it was costing me something far more important that I started to look to see what else was possible. That's when the divorce came. Suddenly, I wasn't just a businesswoman. I was a mother, a single mother with a 3-year-old son in a vision for the kind of life that we both deserved. And that's when everything changed. Because when it came time to decide what life would look like after my divorce, something inside of me said enough. And I didn't default to the old system. I didn't try to bounce back into burnout. I actually created something different. I designed a life that could breathe, a schedule that let me be present, and a client experience that was rooted in deep alignment, not urgency. I knew I couldn't model hustle for my son. I mean, I guess I could, but I didn't want to. I didn't want that life for me, and I didn't want it for my son. I had to live what I wanted him to see, wanted him to inherit. So I didn't just rebuild my life, I actually reimagined it. I stopped trying to prove that I could do it all, because nobody can do it all. And I started asking, what would it look like to do what truly matters to me? Do it well, but with grace, with spaciousness, with joy. What would that look like? And that's where the Inspired Growth System came from, not just from my coaching work, but from my lived experience as well. Because to me, success without peace isn't success, it's just noise. Hey, I want to pause here for a moment. So if you're realizing that you've been building a business from a place of proving and not peace, just know that awareness alone is everything. Now, if you're ready to shift, not to survive, I want to invite you into a deeper experience. Go to inspired-bp.com and book a free breakthrough session with me at the link in the show notes. You don't have to figure it out alone. You just have to say yes to something different. Now, back to the truth about hustle. And here's the part that nobody talks about. These are the quiet, sophisticated pretenses. They're not loud. They're not dramatic. It's just this, it's like a low-grade unease. It's a subtle, persistent disconnect. It's that kind of disconnect that only shows up when you silence that deeper knowing, that whisper, for just a little bit too long. And what that knowing is saying, and clear as day, even if you don't want to hear it, what it's saying is, this isn't it. Pretending this level of achievement is fulfilling when part of me was still feeling empty, I just knew it wasn't it. Pretending to be empowered when I'm quietly exhausted from being the strong one wasn't it. The truth is, just because you can hold it all, it doesn't mean you should. And it certainly doesn't mean you have to. So here's another truth. Most people aren't burnt out from working hard. They're burnt out from working hard on things that they don't actually believe in, that they're not aligned with. So McKinsey and Company found that people who describe their work as purposeful are 4 times more engaged and 6 times more likely to stay long-term. And by the way, for founders, that same alignment is the #1 predictor of sustainable growth. So that was from a 2020 McKinsey study. Purpose isn't a buzzword. It's your lifeline. Without it, everything feels heavier than it should. But with it, you can lift more with less effort. So let's do a reframe here. Let's reframe what real success looks like. You can have peace and profit. You can scale and sleep. You can pursue excellence without abandoning yourself. So here's the shift that I want you to give a try this week, okay? Each morning this week, simply ask yourself, just each morning. So just ask yourself, what would success look like today if I built it with peace of mind? By the way, being in the not knowing, being in the space of inquiry is the highest form of creativity possible. That's where the new answers are going to come from, not from thinking, not from what you already know, but actually just asking and exploring and looking. So again, this week, what would success look like today if I built it with peace in mind? So just let that question set your priorities, not urgency, not fear, and not pressure to perform. Okay. So in closing, how about we create a new definition of success? So you don't need to sacrifice your soul to scale your business. And you don't need to prove your worth of abundance by burning out in the process. You get to create success on your terms with integrity, with joy, and with space to actually live. If this episode stirred something in you, don't let it pass. Pause on it, reflect, and then act. And if you want more conversations like this, bold, loving, and direct, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, you can leave a review. Most importantly, if this really did make a difference for you, chances are it'll make a difference for somebody else you know. So please pass this along to anyone that you think this conversation would make a difference for. And if you're ready to grow from alignment, not adrenaline, you know where to find me. So thank you for listening. Welcome home. Welcome, the Inspired Entrepreneur.
Every day I'm changing, I'm taking small steps, and every time I'm falling